For over half a century, one name has stood as the ultimate symbol of reliability, efficiency, and engineering brilliance: Toyota. From the dusty roads of developing nations to the high-tech highways of California, Toyota dominated. They didn't just build cars, they built a legacy. They pioneered the just-in-time manufacturing system that every other company copied. They gave us the Corolla, the best-selling car in history, and they sparked the green revolution with us back in 1997. For decades, Toyota. Today, that throne is shaking. As the automotive world undergoes its most radical transformation since the invention of the internal combustion engine, the giant is stumbling. While Tesla breaks delivery records every quarter and Chinese titans like BYD flood the global market with affordable electric vehicles, Toyota seems to be moving in slow motion. On the surface, their leadership says they are being cautious and rational. But if you look at the data, the economics, and the history of industrial collapses, a much darker picture emerges. Toyota isn't just being careful, they are secretly losing the EV war. To understand how we got here, we have to look back at Toyota's greatest triumph, the hybrid. When the Prius launched, it was a miracle of engineering. It proved that you could save the planet without changing how people drive. It made Toyota billions and cemented their reputation as the leaders of green tech. But this success created a dangerous psychological trap called the success trap. Because Toyota owned the hybrid market, they became convinced that the world didn't need pure battery electric vehicles. They believed that electrified was good enough, and that fully electric was a niche hobby for tech geeks. While a young startup in California called Tesla was struggling to build the Model S, Toyota's executives weren't worried. In fact, they even partnered with Tesla for a short time before selling their stake and walking away, convinced that batteries were too heavy, too expensive, and too limited. Instead, Toyota placed a massive, multi-million-dollar bet on a different technology: hydrogen fuel cells. The Toyota Mirai was supposed to be the future. Toyota envisioned a world where you would pull up to a pump, fill up with hydrogen in 3 minutes, and drive away with zero emissions. They lobbied governments, invested in infrastructure, and spent years perfecting the fuel cell. But they missed the most basic rule of economics: the network effect. While hydrogen stations cost millions to build and remained incredibly rare, the world was quietly installing millions of simple electric plugs. By the time Toyota realized that hydrogen for passenger cars was a dead end, Tesla had already built the supercharger network, and the race was essentially over. Toyota had spent a decade running in the wrong direction. By 2022, the pressure to produce a real electric vehicle became undeniable. Toyota finally released the bZ4X. The name itself felt like a password generated by a computer, and the car was even more confusing. It lacked the range of a Tesla, the charging speed of a Hyundai, and the software was years behind the competition. But the real disaster came shortly after launch, when Toyota had to issue a global recall because the wheels could literally fall off while driving. For a company whose entire brand is built on quality, durability, and reliability, this was more than a mistake, it was a humiliation. It proved that Toyota's legendary engineering teams, who are masters of engines and transmissions, were struggling to adapt to the simplified but high-tech world of EVs. But perhaps the biggest threat to Toyota isn't coming from America, it's coming from the East. For years, Toyota dominated the Asian and European markets. But now Chinese companies like BYD, Geely, and Xiaomi are doing something Toyota never expected. They are building better cars for less money. BYD is vertically integrated. They make their own batteries, their own chips, and their own motors. This allows them to sell high-quality EVs at prices that make Toyota's gasoline cars look expensive. In China, the world's largest car market, Toyota's sales are cratering. Young buyers don't want a reliable Camry anymore. They want a rolling supercomputer on wheels. So, what is Toyota's plan? If you listen to their PR department, they are banking on a Hail Mary pass: solid-state batteries. Toyota claims that by 2027 or 2028, they will launch a battery that offers 700 miles of range and charges in 10 minutes. It sounds perfect. It sounds like the silver bullet that will kill Tesla. But there's a massive problem. Toyota has been promising this exact technology for nearly 10 years. Every time the deadline approaches, they push it back another 3 years. Even if they do manage to build it, Scaling it to millions of cars at an affordable price is a monumental task that no one has solved yet. Toyota is currently facing the innovator's dilemma. So much money tied up in engine factories, transmission plants, and hybrid technology that they cannot afford to switch to EVs completely without destroying their own profits. They are trying to protect the past while the rest of the world is building the future. They argue that the world isn't ready for EVs, but the truth is, Toyota isn't ready for the world. In the history of business, we have seen this story before. Kodak invented the digital camera but refused to sell it because it would hurt their film business. Nokia laughed at the iPhone because it didn't have a physical keyboard. Both companies were industry leaders who thought they were too big to fail. Today, Toyota is at that exact crossroads. They are the most profitable company in the world today, but profit is a lagging indicator. It tells you how well you did yesterday, not how well you will do tomorrow. The EV transition isn't just a change in fuel, it's a change in the entire architecture of transportation. It's about software, vertical integration, and battery chemistry. Right now, Toyota is playing a game of catch-up in a race where the leaders are already miles ahead. If their solid-state gamble fails, or if they continue to move at this glacial pace, we might be witnessing the slow-motion collapse of the greatest automaker to ever exist. What do you think? Is Toyota playing a brilliant long game? Or are they the next Nokia? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. This is a massive shift in the global economy, and we are just at the beginning. Thanks for watching High RPM, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the business of cars, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We will see you in the next one.